Good afternoon, everyone. This is the monthly update on Dynamics 365 Unified for Operations from Recann and Zebs. Today we have Jonathan Fisher from Recann, Laza Janib from Zebs, and Leash, myself, from Zebs also. So let's dive into it. The objectives and the agenda for the session, we've made some changes related to the lesson based on feedback that you gave us, and we're going to try and keep it a little shorter, more to the point, less explanation, one slide with simple bullet points per topic. We'll have a Q&A after each section instead of waiting for the end of the webinar. Just type your questions in the chat or raise your hand, and we will unmute you. Other points that we have, or changes are, we're going to try and keep it to 1 to 2 questions per section to keep it short so that we can get through all the stuff. Please be short and clear. We'll also answer short and clear. Again, we'll try and keep it short and keep the dynamics of it. Contact us if you need to do a deep dive into it personally on anything. So, there's a survey which is where we got ideas for stuff that the changes we're making. Please take it. It's for your benefit, and an email will be sent out with it, with a URL, even though I'll show it at the end also. Clients will get a copy, but since this is a retake, I'll inform everyone right now that we will be sending out a PDF version of the PowerPoints, and the video is being recorded, and you'll also get it. We'll make it available. Agenda. So the first 2 points on the agenda are for all of those who are new, short intro to Recann, and then they will give some news about what the resourcing market looks like, a short intro to Zebs and any news we have from us, then we'll actually get into the updates of what's been happening in the ecosystem of the Dynamics 365 Unified Operations. At the end, if we have time, we'll give you some tips and tricks, and a QA and wrap up. And now I'm going to hand over to Jonathan.
Yes, hi there everyone. Hope you all had a great week. So I'm Jonathan. I'm Jonathan, the Ryan Gosling lookalike with the shiny forehead to the left of your screen. To the right of me you have my colleagues Ike Dilly and Robin Hirons. Today I'm going to provide you with a quick overview and introduction to Recann, although I'm hoping you'll know a little bit about us already, but if not you will do soon. And then I'll briefly run through some market information with you, as we mentioned. So the people you see on the screen make up the management team at Recann. Between the three of us there's nearly 30 years hands-on recruitment experience. And at Recann we have a network of customers across Europe and beyond. We work with a range of clients across industry sectors, from global brands to SMEs. Recann was formed over 3 years ago with the ethos to challenge, improve and evolve the way recruitment services are delivered. Our success is demonstrated by a growing customer base, the testimonials and repeat business we receive, the year-on-year growth of our team, and also of our turnover. Within the Dynamics practice at Recann, our recruitment services spans across the full remit of the Dynamics family. We work with technical consultants, functional consultants, project managers, QAs, Power BI specialists, you name it. So I just want to talk you through some of the problems that we're solving and the pains that we're relieving at the moment. It's widely known that there's a huge skill shortage within the Microsoft Dynamics market, and the supply of resource doesn't meet the demands that we're receiving. What we wanted to do in working with Zebs is to try and address this problem. We want to share information, provide learning opportunities that will help people will help us move that red pin on the graph that you see to a much better place. I read a stat recently that states between 55% and 75% of ERP projects fail, and they are failing due to the lack of preliminary research and awareness and skills within the market. that's a huge amount of money being wasted, and we want to address that. We believe that partnering with the team at Zebs, we can reduce the amount of failed projects through education, through sharing knowledge, sharing expertise, and making sure we have the right people in place to deliver the projects and the implementations. Too often people try and force a square peg into a round hole. We believe a partnership with Zebs, along with the experience we hold at Recann, we can educate customers on ensuring they take the right steps when they're implementing their dynamic solution. So going back to the previous slide, our ethos is to challenge, improve and evolve the way recruitment services are delivered. We want to change the perception of recruitment consultants, not like that guy that you can see on the right-hand side of your screen. We believe that in our partnership and our commitment to changing the way the industry looks at recruitment services are delivered, that we can actually start adding some real value to our customers. In a crowded marketplace where it feels like there are more recruiters than there are lines of code in Windows 10, we're consistently and constantly working on ways we can work on improving our service and differentiating ourselves from our competitors. We believe that running webinars like this today and sharing information through workshops, we believe that we can provide additional value. So just quickly running through a bit of market news. All of our live vacancies within the Dynamics market are available to you on our website. If you visit www.recann.co.uk/jobs, these jobs are posted there on a daily basis, so I won't run through all of those with you today. But I just wanted to say that we continue to see a high demand for resource across permanent and contract markets. Across Europe and beyond, there seems to be no slowing down in terms of opportunities. The market's picking up, if anything, especially with the Christmas period looming. People are trying to get things in place ready for the new year, and also it's a busy time, especially for a lot of retailers as well, that we're finding. In terms of specific requirements, I mean, please feel free to get in touch if you're looking for your next role or your next project, or if you know of anyone who might be looking for this position. We actually offer a referral scheme, so a little bit of extra Christmas money might be well received. So yeah, back to you, Louis.
Okay, thank you very much. Then this is where we give you a short introduction for all people who have joined us for the first time. Quickly, here is the core team at Zebs. Normally these sessions are done by Lasse and me. Now and again we might have some of Werner and Dilip joining. So we're all engineers, except Lena, who's admin. You'll get a copy of these, so see us and you can read the details, but the important things we're based on. In Switzerland, we all do training for Microsoft. We're all senior technical experts and top-tier implementation specialists. We already have 6 implementations between us of Dynamics 365 Unified Operations, and we're in progress of one of the first on-premise implementations worldwide. So that's our references. News from us. We have just kicked off some open enrollment workshops. We're doing development fundamentals in November, and then we're starting development advanced in January. We already have an implementation workshop, which I suggest is where everybody should start. That started last month. And we are having an implementation workshop in London for management on the 8th of December. If you want to be or join it, contact us, and I'm sure we'll be able to squeeze you in. We're also working on doing these in Zurich. These are one-day workshops where we just go through the highlights of what is basically our 4-day implementation workshop, and it's directed to management. LCS updates. So now we get to dive into this stuff about in the last month what was updated so that you're aware. And so let me just dive right in. Enabling your access to your environment. So Microsoft is locked down on RDP, and that means if you want to be able to RDP to any environments in the Microsoft Azure subscription, not environments on your own subscription, you need to go into LCS and go to the environment. And as you'll see here, there's under maintain, there's a last menu saying enable access. Go click there and add the IP ranges for which you want to enable access to RDP to your environment. Quite a few people missed this and suddenly lost the ability to RDP to the environments. But there you have it now. Windows remoting. Windows remoting has been locked down by Microsoft. So by default, Windows remoting is not on as it used to be. And this is not just on the environment. It's actually, it won't get anywhere in Azure. You have to go and enable this for any environments that you need Windows Remote to. Typically, people are using this to do automatic releases from VSTS. So remember that. What binary hotfixes that we had in this period, and what changes we had to it. Used to have to go to the dashboard, click on the binary tile, search and select the ones you wanted, download them to disk. Then you'd have to go to the asset library, click plus to add them, and add the package. Okay, now this has become a little easier. They just get saved directly to your asset library. So you search, find all the stuff you want, you select the hotfix you want to save it, and it's there. So you don't have to download it to your disk and then upload it to the asset library. As hotfixes, the flow is quite different from the binary, but it's still basically the same. Get the different flow, go to the dashboard, click on it. The result is you get the hotfix package bundle that then you can apply to your environment. VMs enable product recommendations. There are some new features and some stuff that you can now enable. This is related to all the work that Microsoft is doing in machine learning and artificial intelligence. One of them is to enable product recommendations. I haven't seen anyone using it yet, but the idea of it is that, for example, when you're in retail, this is what I've seen until now, actually. When in retail, you selling a product to clients based on the information that's collected and data behind it, and you could get recommendations for other products that your clients might be interested in. So you want to turn this on. It's probably going to be used more and more going forward in the ERP side of things too. Configure machine learning. This enables machine learning to go through and analyze the data that you have in your ERP system, and there's a whole bunch of new stuff coming in it right now. I'm not sure of any practical application that's being surfaced in the ERP system, but I suggest you read up on this and pay attention to it, because obviously, since you can enable it, there's something coming and on the way on it. One interesting issue that a lot of people seem to be having, it appears to have been an Azure issue and appears to be resolved, was people getting 500 error login in their development environments. This seems to have gone away, now fixed. Licensing updates. So there are no licensing updates since the last release, which was July, so everything is the same. Support updates. This is actually not an update as such, but we get a lot of people who are not aware of this, so I'm just bringing it up. Is that there's a new program called the FastTrack Program. So when you join in and you start implementing Dynamics 365 unified operations, Microsoft provides this FastTrack Program, which does every second week you get a follow-up with them, and towards going live, as you get closer to go live, it goes to 1 week. And they basically ask you a bunch of questions and make sure that you are asking the questions and you're answering the questions and you're moving forward in the right direction. It's helpful. They don't really do or solve any of your problems, but it sort of gives you like a checklist and somebody that's making sure that you're answering the questions that need to be answered. The only catch is you're only allowed into the FastTrack program if you have a minimum of 50 users. Platform updates. What we have, so the important thing is form adapters have been replaced by type providers. The important part of this is form adapters are typically used in tests, and that means tests that are using form adapters will all end up being broken and you'll have to redo them. Now, since you'll get the slides, you'll be able to look a bit more at the details of this, but you can also read up on it. The important thing is to realize what's happening with the form adapters and the fact that the form adapters have been taken out, not just some of them. So even some of the Microsoft Data Demo Suite package from Microsoft is broken. If you try to build all your packages, all your models, sorry, so it's the model. If you try to build all your models in Visual Studio, you'll get errors on that model because it's the form adapters that it uses are missing. So uncheck it when you build, don't build it. Enterprise Edition Platform Update 11 is out at the beginning of the month, and there's a whole bunch of interesting stuff in there, as you can see from the slide. Auditing, user sign-in and off is an interesting one. Again, this does impact slightly on performance, so check it out, make sure you're using it correctly. There's now the ability to bring your own database with the support for delete operations. Previously there was, you couldn't delete, now you can. An interesting one was this attachment and of documents account indicator. This is used to have the documents attachments to your, if you had any to your records, you have an icon up on the right hand side where you click on it and then you could go see in there, but in the main form you couldn't really see if you had any, and now it'll actually show you how many you have in there. So that's I personally like that. You can now copy legal entity configurations to a new legal entity, and there's some development and customization improvements of field groups. There's an extension, you can extend another extension. There's support for display and edit methods and class extensions too, supports for field arrays and table extensions, and you can use EDT extensions to you can customize the number of decimals in EDT extensions. Multiple document reports that are sent now are put together in a zip file when they're produced so that you can download them. That's just makes it less data to download. And the resource governor on Azure SQL is now managing server workloads, and so that should help maintain or give priority to interactive sessions so they don't degrade because of being uninteractive or face sessions. The new unified interface, this is not really visible right now so much in the ERP, but it's coming, so keep an eye out for it. It's being rolled out to the Dynamics mobile app and will be available on the web client in the coming months, so look out for it. Deeper LinkedIn integrations, this is also stuff that's coming. For now, you'll see it in the sales and relationship insights, and there's also an integration of LinkedIn and Microsoft Graph that's coming up. The Dynamics 365 user experience, so this is going to go through all the products and applications that are in there are going to be impacted by this. You're going to be able to do LinkedIn emails and messages directly from the apps. Something else has been added is relationship assistant cards. You'll be able to search across 365 services, and all this stuff is coming soon to finance and operations. If you're using some of the other apps, particularly the CRM stuff, you'll already be able to see some of this stuff. Application updates. September release has the build number that you can see. It's been available, it was made available in October. This is mainly a subset of application enhancements. released on top of Dynamics 365 for finance and operations. And these updates don't affect the support lifecycle of the release support, and the release was in line with the policies for the July 2017 release. And that basically means that you still have 36 months, or within 36 months from the date of the July 2017 release, you've got to upgrade the application. The content of this is really those two knowledge base articles that you see over there. So this is a minor update. October, minor release. The application updates listed below. This is what we're seeing, the KBs. This is what is included in them. These updates don't affect the support lifecycle, as mentioned. And if you want to, you can go here on Go in LCS, look for them, and you can see exactly what the contents for them are. Issue search. This is you can download them from there. So you see that's one of them, and if you enter them, it'll turn up with both the binary and the X++ part relative to the knowledge base, which you can download and apply to your environments. The binaries, application update full for finance operations, that's just the binary part, so download the whole thing and apply it. This is what it looks like if you pick up the X++ stuff. Azure updates, next point. So, this is Laze's turn. He's doing the Azure updates. Sorry about that, Laze. I'm going to hand over to you.
No problem.
You have control, Laze?
I think so. I hope so. Hello, everyone. Okay, let's. Okay. So the Azure Data Lake Analytics Service now can help you to easily organize, manage, and gain some insights from the Data Lake Analytics jobs that are running as a part of the pipelines on the recurring basis. And there are some new capabilities that you can do, like quickly identify jobs in the pipelines that might have failed, or maybe take longer than expected. You can also get the aggregated statistic, like the job counts, for a pipeline or a recurring keystring, so you can better understand the resource consumption. Sorry, I was muted somehow. You can get from October 4th, the Azure Network Team features will be available only in the new Azure portal. We will no longer there will be no longer support of the classic portal finally, and in the Azure Dev Test labs, you can now claim your VM. You can use it and unclaim it when you need it, when you don't need it anymore, so that other members of the team can reuse it. You can do so by selecting the unclaim button, which is in the screenshot here. So an unclaimed VM no longer appears in your list of neon VMs, but is appearing in the list of claimable virtual machines. You can learn more in the documentation online. The Azure Active Directory service, domain services, now supports virtual network created through Azure Resource Manager deployment model. This feature is now generally available, and it's available to all of the Azure regions that is supported. You can configure the Azure Active Directory domain services by using the Azure portal, and it's also generally available on all of the regions. All existing managed domains have been migrated to the new portal of Azure from the classic portal, so the classic portal will be totally shut down very soon. And you can now configure and manage existing managed domains by using the Azure portal. The Azure Enterprise Agreement users can view and analyze their subscription through different pilots in the Azure portal, and this preview addresses the top requests for these customers. And you can also now restart your lab virtual machines by using the restart button, which is in the screenshot. You don't have to deallocate and reallocate your virtual machine every time when you restart it. This was a very requested feature. So when you're creating a VM in your lab, you can now select the data science and the Bitnami images. After these images are enabled by the lab owner, they will appear in the list of available images in the VM creation. As a lab admin, you will need to review and accept the terms for the using of these images in order to enable them for the users in your lab. This is happening only once as an admin. And the general availability of the Windows and the preview of the Linux accelerated network has started from October 9. Creation of all of the VMs is supported only through the Azure Resource Manager. You need to all the SSL certificates issued in the Azure App Service before March this year will receive an email to verify the domain at the time of renewal. You will get this email even if your auto renewal is enabled for your certificate, and this is some change resulting in the code editing policy, so you need to check your emails in order to verify again. Okay. Because the PHP group stated that PHP 5.5 is no longer supported, there won't be any more updates for that version, including the security fixes. So, to avoid potential security issues for the Azure App Service, the plan is to retire PHP in January 2018. And the currently supported versions are all after that, so 5.6, 7.0, 7.9. And Azure Automation now supports update management, inventory, and change tracking. All of these capabilities are currently in preview. Update management delivers visibility to update compliance with across all of the Azure on-premises and other clouds for both Windows and Linux. The Azure Batch AI helps you to train your deep learning and other machine learning models by using the GPU and the CPU clusters. This is also connected with the thing that we previously discussed to enable the deep learning through LCS. There is no additional charge for using the Batch AI beyond the underlying computer and other resource consumes. Batch AI supports both standard and low priority virtual machines, but only Linux virtual machines in the East European, East US region are supported in the preview. Since the previous update, there are a lot of capabilities added to the Azure Batch. You can see them in the list. So this list will be also, this presentation will be distributed as a PDF, so you can see all of the changes. Azure Service Fabric version 6.0 on the runtime is now available. They include the new features, improvements, and some bug fixes. Azure availability zones are now available for preview in 2 regions, like US East 2 and Western European. The current list of enabled regions is available on the documentation page. And Azure SQL Data Warehouse was released as a public preview on the optimized compute performance tier. Azure Automation now supports Python 2 and Hybrid, and Azure SQL Data Warehouse now supports elastic query between SQL Data Warehouse and also the Azure SQL database. When you're creating a VM in your lab, you now can select also a Kali Linux image, and after you enable this image, it will appear in your available images. Let's talk about VSTS. So in the newest, in the Spring 125 update of the VSTS, which was released on October 30, you will see this query editing and some other features. This is the list of the features that were released, and we're going to talk about each one of them in detail. So the column option dialog used to configure the columns of the work item in the grid in the backlog in the queries and the test caps has now been updated to use a new panel design, as you can see here in the screenshot. You can search to find the field, drag and drop to reorder the columns or remove existing columns you no longer want to print. Basically, they have modernized all of the column options. It looks much nicer and much modern. Fields that support the in query operator now support not in. So write queries for work items like not in and a list of IDs, not in list of states, and much more, all without having to create many nested OR clauses. Interesting about this feature that it was prioritized and it was integrated because of customer suggestions. So if you have some other customer suggestions, please do, and Microsoft takes a look at that and implements it. It was a very highly requested feature. The delivery plan extensions now makes the use of common filtering component, and it's consistent with the grid filtering experience for work item and words. This filtering control brings improved usability and a consistent interface to all members of your team. Earlier this year, Microsoft introduced customizable work item rules to VSTS, but with this current update, they provide even more options. So by introducing the read-only action to work item rules, very useful thing. For example, one rule, some of the rules that you can leverage with this new capability is that when you create a work item, when the work item state is resolved, then you can make the remaining work field read-only, or when, for example, a work item state is closed, then you can make the assign to read-only, or when you make a value of approved to true, then the review can be made as view-only. You can also now mention pull requests in the PR comments and work item discussion. The experience for mentioning PR is similar to that of a work item, but used an exclamation point instead of a hash mark. Whenever you want to mention a PR, enter an exclamation point, then you will see interactive experience for picking out a PR from your list or from your recent PRs. Enter a keyword to filter to the list of suggestions, or enter an ID of your PR you want to mention. Once you have mentioned the PR, it will be rendered in line with the ID and also the full title plus the link which can be accessed directly. Very useful feature. Two new features are available in the file diff viewer. So the toggle word wrap and the toggle white space. The first allows you to word wrap setting to be applied while in the different view. This is particularly useful for reviewing PRs that contain file without frequent line breaks, or markdown files, for example, are a very good example. The option to toggle white space is helpful when only white space has changed in a line or a file. But toggling this setting with both display and highlight the white space characters, like dots for spaces, arrows, or tabs. To toggle these settings, you can use the F1 key to access the command palette, then select the setting you want to toggle. The package page has now been updated to use the standard page layout, command bar control, and new standard filter bar, so everything is standardized to have the same look across the board. And the new create new release experience will help you visualize the pipeline before the creation. And additionally, for automatically triggered environments, you can switch the trigger from automatic to manual by clicking the environment and quickly see the impact on your pipeline. When adding artifacts to release definitions, you can now create a GitHub connection directly from the artifact selection panel. Choose from either the authentication or token authentication mechanism. It's very similar to the experience that there is for the build definition editor. And Azure Resource Manager templates now allow defining outputs, which need to be returned after the Azure deployment. We have there is an enhancement Azure Resource Group deployment task to expose the output JSON section of the deployment object as an output parameter or in the task reference name. You can further parse the JSON object and access the individual output values. Circle avatars are now here in Visual Studio. All profile pictures in the service will display in a circle shape like in the screenshot above. Rather than a square, for example, there is an actual pull request for the change, and all the circular, not square avatar. You can also now adorn projects with important keywords, or basically tags, like everyone is saying. Tags are easily added and deleted directly from your project name homepage by the administrators, of course, and allowing users to quickly understand more about the purpose of the scope of the project. I think that's about BSTS. Now we have something to talk about Power BI. So in the October update 2017, it was released in October 5th. These are the things that were released. We have new things in the reports, in the analytics, and in the data connectivity, and we have also some general updates. We're going to talk about details to each one of these. Bookmarking. The bookmarking was one of the features that Microsoft demoed on the Data Insight Summit, and as a powerful way to save and share all of your insights with others. Bookmarking lets you save interesting states as part of your report. Once you have a list of all your bookmarks, you can use those in several ways, including a quick way to pick up where you left off in your analysis for organizing presentation or report. There's still no bookmarking across highlights, but that is something that they will implement very, very soon. As part of the bookmarking, Microsoft also added a selection pane. This pane lists all of the objects on the report page you're currently viewing and allows you to select the visuals from there. This is very useful when you're authoring complex reports with many overlapping charts, and you can also hide visuals through the pane. You can open the selection pane from the View tab, as it seen in the screenshot, and in the selection pane for each item of your current page, you'll see either an eye or a line icon letting you know if it's visible or not. Click on the eye icon will let you toggle the visual between hidden or visible. And another feature that is released in coordination with bookmarking is links for shapes and images. The previous one, when we talked about the drill through, on the Power BI updates, the ability to link, if you remember the shapes, to link shapes and images on the previous page was added. That linking is extended and now allows you to link shapes and images to bookmarking also. You can find this also in the formatting page under the link card. As part also of bookmarking, there is a new way to call attention to a specific chart using presentation. I have already used this a couple of times during my presentation. You can already use the focus mode to temporarily increase the size of a chart to fill the whole page. But if instead you want only to call attention to a specific chart without losing the content of the report, you can then use the spotlight as a visual to fade out all of the other charts of the page. Clicking anywhere else on the report, it will remove the spotlight. You can find this feature under the three dots on the top right corner of any charts. The spotlight feature can also be included as part of the bookmarking. Back in June, the marker controls for line, area, and combo were released, and this month the marker controls for scatter and bubble chart are extended. Using the marker shape option in the shape platform formatting page, you can change your marker to circle, square, diamond, or triangle, and you can also customize it per series to make your report much more accessible. The previous month, the new sampling algorithm was introduced for scattering chart design with high density data in mind. And this month, there is also a way to increase the number of data points shown in your scatter chart. Using the new data volume slider in the general card or the formatting page, you can set the maximum data volume to any number between 3,500 to 10,000. And since more data points can mean longer loading time, if you do choose to publish this report with limits at the higher end of the scale, you really make sure to test your reports across the web and mobile to match the performance, because it can really take a long time to parse. Now you can also use quick measures for reports that are using live connection mode against SQL service and analysis services models. You can turn on the preview feature switch and start using them right away in your models. One thing to be aware of is since different quick measures require support for different dynamics X functions and operators, some quick measures won't be available on certain server versions. The quick measure support to work with custom data tables is also extended. And You can see the details in the documentation. If you have a cell level formatting set up in your on-premise SQL Server analysis service model, this will allow you will now be respected in the Power BI reports. You will see the formatting in your values in your table, matrix, and single value color visuals with no additional setup required. And for example, here's an example of the Adventure Works Cube. And with this month update, a new data connector to Power BI is added for Vertica. The Vertica Analytics platform is designed to use data warehouse and other big data workloads where speed, scalability, simplicity, or openness are crucial to the success of analytics. Vertica relies on a tested, reliable distributed architecture or columnar compression to deliver blazingly fast speed. The new Vertica connector allows you to build reports by importing or creating direct query connections with your database in the Vertica Analytics platform. The new Vertica connector is available as a beta connector and can be found under the other tab category with the Get Data dialog. One of the most requested feature, it looks like, was the SAP BW connector. It has been the ability to import additional member properties beside the medium name. And with this release of the Power BI desktop, these properties are available in the SAP BW connector so that you can select them within the navigator dialog. You can select one or multiple properties for each selected objects, and which will be represented as new columns and output of their queries. Last but not the least, if you have missed the announcement at Ignite, Microsoft announced that you can now get the Power BI desktop from your Windows Store. It's a very useful feature. I use it quite a lot. Why this is recommended? Because through your Windows Store, this is a real Power BI desktop application, so an XABS application. It will be automatically updated every time a new update is updated. It will be pushed automatically to your machine. You don't have to manually update. You don't have to install anything. And I recommend you to use it. Even if you have your Power BI desktop application, XABS, MSI installed on your machine, please use this. It's much more better. With this, what this also means is that you no longer also need admin privileges to install, and it's much smaller download size because the Windows Store makes sure that only the components that are changed on each update are downloaded to your machine. And it's also easier for IT deployments for everyone in your organization, including the so they can make the Power BI desktop available through the Windows Microsoft Store for Business. And also automatic language detection each time Power BI desktop is launched. So this was for this slide. All right, that's about me. Louis? Louis, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you very much, Lazar. And since this month we had a lot of new stuff, we're skipping the tips and tricks. And since again this is a re-recording of the session for anyone who sees the session, and on Jonathan's suggestion, in the future we'll always start with one tip or trick to make everybody's life easier, to make sure we get at least one in interesting thing for you guys. But for today, let's go to the wrap up here if there are any questions. We don't have anybody asking any questions, so I guess this was actually very good timing. We're more or less on the time that we had. You will get an email with this URL, so you don't need to memorize it, but please fill in the feedback so that we can keep improving. And I guess that's thank you from all of us to everyone, and we hope to see you next month. Bye.
Thank you very much,
everyone.
Okay, bye-bye.